What's up YouTube? I'm Josh Newlin from Newlin Performance, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to email college coaches to get their interest, and I'm going to show you 5 different specific types of emails. So for those of you that don't already know, I started my recruiting process way too late. I didn't start sending emails out on a mass scale till October of my senior year. But the techniques I'm going to show you about how to write your emails in this video are what I use to get a fair amount of responses and interest, even emailing that late in the process. And the 5 different types of emails I'm going to show you are the introduction, the update, the no thanks, the clarifying, and the last minute. So obviously, before you send any emails, you need to make a list of schools and you need to find the emails for these coaches. My list of schools was 83 schools. I narrowed it down. I picked states that were close to me. I didn't want to go too far from home. And the only other criteria other than that was that they had my major and they weren't JUCO. I wanted to go to a 4-year university right away. So don't make the list of schools too specific. You can't be too picky. Don't think you're too good for D2, D3, NAIA. Make your criteria what you're 100% sure is reasons you won't go to that school. Like I knew for sure I didn't want to go across the country too far from home, and I knew exactly what I wanted to major in. There was nothing else that interested me. So once you have the list of schools, you're gonna have to find the email for these schools. And it's pretty simple. It is time consuming, it's very repetitive, but you'll just look up the school name, click on the website, find their athletics website, go to men's sports, soccer, and then you should find the coach's contact information. They should have a separate coaches tab, and if not, then try the roster tab and it should be in there. And that should work pretty much 100% of the time for all the schools you're looking at. So once you have their email found, you need to have a good email that's professional. Just take a couple minutes. If you don't already have a professional one, just make one with your first and last name at gmail.com. You know, coaches don't want to see DragonSlayer69x at gmail.com. And just be professional, leave a good first impression. So first and foremost, subject line. You want to make one that is going to catch their eye. So put your first and last name, your grade, senior, junior, sophomore. Then put your position or positions, where you're from, and then your GPA, test scores. And after that, put like your biggest soccer achievement, whether you're a team captain, you're all conference this, state champs, ODP, whatever is a big soccer achievement, put that at the end. So that subject line should already contain a lot of your important basic information. All right, so then you want to say, hi coach, use their last name. I'm Josh Newlin and I'm a senior playing for Benfica and Shadow Ridge High School in Surprise, Arizona. Remind them of your grade and where you're playing at. Then the next sentence include your important academic information. Then the last sentence of this first paragraph include like your biggest soccer achievements. So just kind of reiterate some of the information in your subject line, your important stuff. So I recommend not making any paragraph longer than 3 sentences really. So include your most important, best information about yourself. So this next paragraph is very important. You want to show the coaches how interested you really are in their school. The rest of this email you can pretty much just copy and paste, but this information you want to make it specific to the school and the coach. So for example, if the school was the winners or the runner-ups of their conference tournament, say, I would love to go to blah 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 university because I noticed you won the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference tournament last year. And then you can say something about the coach. You know, if you've noticed that they've played professionally overseas, that they've coached at some other big schools, or they've coached at the same school for a long time, include that information. If the school isn't the best soccer-wise, but it is a good academic school, say, I would love to go to Stanford University because they have an amazing academic reputation. Some D1 schools and even some really good NAIA schools, you might also notice that they'll have players that'll go on to play in MLS or USL, and include that as another reason to go there and say, I would love to play for a program that players have played for and went on to play at the highest level in America. And the ways you can find a lot of this information is just like find their emails. Go to the school's athletic website, go to soccer, you can look at news, look at schedule and results, look at the coaches' bios to read about them. And I guarantee you'll find something interesting about the program, players that have played there, the coaches, or just the school's reputation. And then for the final sentence in this paragraph, kind of wrap it all together. Say something along the lines of, it would be a privilege to play for the blah 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 soccer program because I want to play for a competitive program and for a coach that has experience playing and coaching at the highest level. Or I want to attend blah 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 university because they have a great academic reputation and former players here have went on to play at higher levels. And then for the last paragraph, you could maybe include some recent information about your club, if they've had a good record, if they won a recent tournament. Explain how you've contributed, if you have a few goals, assists, mention that briefly. If not, that's okay. The next sentence, you can just say, I've included a link to my highlight film below. And if you do have a full recruiting profile like I do on NCSA, you can also say I've linked that below with any other information you want to find about academics, my playing experience, anything like that. And if you want to include a link to your schedule, you can also do that as well. And then you can finish it off. I'd recommend also throwing in a question of maybe saying, are there any camps, tournaments, or showcases you'll be going to? So you can have an idea of where you might be able to play in front of the coach live. And including the question also makes it more likely they'll respond. And then finally, thank them. Say thank you for your consideration and time. And say something along the lines of, I'm looking forward to keeping in touch with you. So he knows you're going to follow up on this. This wasn't just a one-time email. And you end it in a respectful manner. And then say sincerely, first and last name. And then put your links below. Also say, my highlight video, space, link, return, put a space in between so it looks nice and neat, easy to read. Then say my recruiting profile, space, paste the link. Just try to keep it neat and clean and easy for them to find the information they want to find. And this does look pretty long on the screenshot here because it isn't on my phone, but if they're reading this on the computer, it's not going to look that long. If you keep it to about 3 sentences each paragraph and just include the most important and relevant information, that's a good introduction email. And the introduction emails I'd recommend sending out probably your sophomore year, but if you're in like the first half of your junior year, it's also a good time to send those out. You know, maybe second half of your junior year, start of your senior year, you're definitely going to need to be more direct probably than this. So the next type of email is the update email. I would recommend sending this out after you and the coach have maybe replied a couple times. Even if they haven't replied, still send them out. Let the coaches know what's going on with you, what's new with you. Obviously, this should be a follow-up to your introduction email. And a lot of the coaches are going to reply to your introduction email wanting to know when can they see you play live, what's your schedule like, things like that. So this is the kind of email you should have ready to send. So use the same subject line. Start off with hi coach, last name. In the first sentence, just something similar to, I just wanted to update you and let you know how my season's going or what I've been up to. And then inform them of any tournaments you played in lately, maybe what your record is this season, whether it's high school or club, what your contribution has been. Maybe just briefly mention your stats, or if you're a team captain or got any team awards. And then mention a tournament, game, showcase, camp you're going to. Let them know when and where it is. If you already noticed that like the coach's name is on the roster, then mention that and say, you know, I'd really appreciate it if you came to watch me play at this showcase. Or if it's already confirmed they're going to the same camp you're going to, then say, I'm looking forward to meeting and playing in front of you. And if you don't really have many games coming up or any camps, tournaments, things like that, then you can also update them and just let them know I posted a new highlight video from the most recent season. Or I just posted some game film if you're not able to play live in front of the coach, and make them aware of that. And then once you've had those 1-2 sentences, ask them the question, something similar like, what should I be doing next if I want to attend blah 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 university, if I want to be a player on your program? Make it clear to them that you want to move along in the recruiting process, that you're taking it serious and that you're really interested. And then again, end with something respectful, thanking them for their time and interest, and then saying something along the lines of telling them you're going to keep in touch, you're looking forward to playing in front of them, to meeting them, something like that reminds them you're going forward with this. And again, sincerely, first and last name. If you mentioned links, then link them down at the bottom. I would also recommend just linking your highlight video and your recruiting profile at the bottom of pretty much every email you send anyways. So next type is the no thanks email. And this is probably the email, to be honest, you'll probably send out the least. But even for me, being late in the recruiting process, I still had quite a few schools that emailed me that I wasn't interested in, or there's deal breakers of I just couldn't go there. And that was pretty much because they either didn't have my major or they were too far away. So this one, pretty short, pretty simple. Be respectful. Tell them thank you very much for your interest in me, but I'm not looking at or interested in your university because you don't have my major. I've already decided I want to go to a 4-year university. I want to stay closer to home. Give them a legit reason. And this is one of my biggest factors affecting where I'm going to attend college or something like that. And then just finish thanking them again. You want to be respectful. You don't just want to ignore these emails from schools that you're not interested in because, like I mentioned in one of my earlier videos, coaches move around. Almost every year, coaches are moving around, assistant coaches. You never know where they could end up. And if they really liked you at one school and there was a reason you couldn't go there, and then they switch schools, they might reach out to you. And then you might have a legit opportunity there. So you don't want to burn bridges. You don't want to give off the wrong impression. You don't just want to email them back and say no thanks. You want to be specific, give them a real reason, be respectful. So the fourth kind of email, I call this the clarifying email. This is when you've been emailing coaches quite a bit and maybe they were replying but it's been vague, maybe they haven't even been replying, but you keep sending them out emails, which you should. Be consistent, keep doing it even if you don't get replies. Just keep sending them, keep your name in their minds. But let's just say they've been kind of vague or you haven't worked things out to be able to play live in front of them and something along those lines. Maybe the coach hasn't seemed to actively try to have a phone call with you to try to attend your games or things like that. And you don't want to waste your time, you don't want to waste their time, so you need to be direct. It's probably getting a little late in the recruiting process to still be emailing 80 schools all at the same time. So you want to make it clear. Again, use the same subject line, hi coach, last name, and then tell them, I've sent you my profile and highlight videos, and I'm still very interested in attending blah 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 university. And then simply ask the question, am I someone you're recruiting for the class of 2019 or whatever your class is? Just be direct. This is probably getting late in the recruiting process. You don't want to waste your time by having to send out emails to all these schools that aren't really showing the same interest back. So just ask the question. There are probably going to be quite a few schools that will straight up say, no, we're not recruiting you. But there you go, you just saved some time. So again, you're being respectful, and I think the coaches will respect this too, if you're just being straight up. Some might surprise you and say, yeah, and then they might say, we've been so busy because it's been in the middle of the season or things like that. And they'll probably appreciate you being straight up and direct with them. And the fifth and final kind of email is pretty similar to the clarifying one. I call it the last minute one. It's one I sent out October of my senior year. And this one's for the schools you're still contacting for the first time. So same subject line as usual to catch their attention. Hi coach, last name. Thank you for opening my email. Blah 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 university is one of the top schools on my list. Let them know you're really interested. And then acknowledge that you're late or behind the recruiting process, or if it's the middle of their season, right after their season, preseason, acknowledge that they're busy. Say, I know you're really busy right now because it's the middle of the season, you're going to the conference tournament this weekend, whatever reason, and then say, so I just had a quick question. Are you still recruiting the class of 2019? Sincerely, Josh Newlin. Link your highlights, link your recruiting profile again. This one is really direct, and in some ways it seems like I didn't even include information about myself, but you just got to be straight up with them. Don't waste your time. Don't waste their time. At this point, you've probably got to recognize that for most D1 and D2 schools, unless you're an absolutely amazing player, this late in the process, they're probably automatically going to be written off, and that's just the reality of it. In the back of my mind, I kind of knew, partly because of my skill level, partly because I was so late and behind the recruiting process, it was probably going to be D3 or an AI for me. I still sent this out to all the D1s and D2s, and I actually got quite a few responses, more than I probably would have expected from a few D2s and a few D1s, most of them saying, we need to see you play live as soon as possible. But the more genuine interest came from the D3s and AIAs. So just have that in the back of your mind. Don't have too high expectations sending this. The coaches will appreciate that you're being direct, you're being straight up. and you're not wasting their time for them having to read a really long email. They'll see the link to your highlights, they'll see the link to your recruiting profile. If your subject line with your GPA and some of your soccer achievements catches their eye, then they probably will click on your highlight video, your recruiting profile. This can also trim down your list of schools going forward to email, because it's a yes or no question. Coaches say, no, we're not recruiting your class anymore. All right, great. I don't need to waste my time emailing you anymore. They could reply, yes. I mean, I think one guy his response was literally just yes, period, from like a D2 school. So just keep emailing, keep being consistent. Some of them will be like really surprised and happy they found you. Like my school, Shrine University was. Yes, of course we're still emailing the class 2019. And then we emailed back and forth a few times. We had quite a few phone calls, visits set up. So just because it's last minute doesn't mean all hope is lost. It just means you need to act faster, reply faster, and be more direct. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry this is such a long video. I tried to go as in-depth and specific as I could while also keeping it as short as I could. And I didn't want to split this up into multiple videos. I wanted to be this video, everything you need to know about emailing college coaches, just in one video for you guys. To be honest, I haven't seen any other YouTube videos like this where they show you 5 different types of emails and are that specific about how to email them and reach out to them. Obviously, the ideal is that you can send out your lengthy intro email, your sophomore year, send them updates, and that you don't ever have to send out the last minute emails or the clarifying ones to make sure they're interested. But that's not the reality for a lot of players. I think a lot of players would say that they were late and they weren't ahead of schedule when it came to their recruiting. So I just wanted to show you guys the type of emails you're probably going to need to send, how to word them, and this way it'll leave a better impression on coaches. So just to summarize the overall point of all these emails, what they all have in common: keep it as brief as you can while including the most important things. Reiterate your interest in the school. Be respectful and professional, and acknowledge the situation you're in. If you are late in the recruiting process, have the right expectations. So thank you all again. This is an ongoing series. This is third part in it. I'm doing a full guide on college soccer recruiting. So far I've done general tips about how to get recruited. I made a specific video about how to make your own highlight film all on your phone. And every weekend I'm going to be adding to this. So subscribe and stay tuned. Turn on notifications so you know when the new videos are out. But thank you all again, and I'll see you on the next one.